Welcome to the MadTrio podcast. This week we're the California Pariah, Jonathan Charney, James, the Fat Man Stevens.
Hello.
Rob, the old guy.
From the world's famous Rob Kearney Show.
And holy shit, it's Ryan. Welcome back.
What up?
Who the fuck is that? What up?
Oh, jeez. Welcome back to 90s. So I have
And people still say what up.
Yeah, they do.
Talking about.
So I have the lightning round of famous deaths coming up.
Got their
So
nerve.
bring up your sound effects. So Ron Popiel, inventor and king of TV pitchmen, dies at 86 years old. He was famous for the saying, set it and forget it, or those, it's almost the Ginsu knives. He had a bunch of products that I know a lot of people bought.
Oh, yeah, he was the launch. He was the face.
Just about every college kid on the planet bought one of his things.
Absolutely.
It was up there with the George Foreman grill. Everybody owned one of those, and everybody owned one of those like weird rotisserie things or some version of.
Of course, he was way
point.
before George Foreman grill, but you're absolutely right. It was.
Oh, yeah, no Popiel. Good old Ronco, man. That shit was around forever.
I heard the rotisserie thing I've heard worked really well. You just had to constantly clean it.
Well, anything that's going to rotisserie a chicken and cook it at the right temperature is going to splatter like crazy. So, yeah, absolutely have to clean it. But we never did that in college. You just kind of threw things in there and cooked it, and then, wait until you had a grease fire, throw it out, and start again.
The rotisserie was around from back then.
No.
So ZZ Top of bassist Dusty Hill, dead at 72.
Yeah.
And they just played their first gig without Dusty.
Well, yeah. But they weren't supposedly they were going to be on tour this year, and did they decide to go back? Because initially they said they decided just to shut down.
I don't know. Especially
Since this is the news, doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, you got to find somebody who fits the band. I mean, I'm assuming there's going to be bassists lined up across the planet to play with them.
Yeah.
All I thought when I heard about that is, I wonder if he's getting cremated because, and you know what? I don't think I've ever specifically said where I worked, although, probably wouldn't be too difficult for internet sleuths to find out. This is simply just a joke of a thought, but I thought, like, fuck, man, if I'm the crematory operator, I'm shaved dude's beard. I would be the only guy on the planet Earth that knows what he looks like.
Yeah, there you go.
That's hilarious.
Well, just imagine
you could always make like one of those like beard toupees, and then you can have his beard after.
Right.
So anybody's going to take his place has got to grow a beard, right?
It's like if you steal like a Rembrandt painting from a museum. You can hang it in your house, but you can't really tell a lot of people about it.
That's right.
Somebody comes over. What's that hanging over your mantle?
It's in your hidden room.
Just ignore that.
Goddamn thing. You didn't see nothing.
No, it's paint by numbers. My daughter did it. Isn't it amazing? So, legendary comedian Jackie Mason and The Simpsons alum, dead at 93.
This is the Dead Show.
This is the lightning
episode.
It's the lightning round of celebrity deaths.
I just got out of work. I don't need this.
Jeez.
I got one more.
Oh boy. There we go.
I hopefully I don't butcher this.
Hopefully this is
name.
the better one out of
Saginaw Grant, Breaking Bad, and The Lone Ranger, dead at 85. I didn't know he was. Saginaw, Saginaw, Grant.
It was the.
What the hell is Saginaw Grant?
Saginaw Grant was the Native American actor, has died. It was announced on his official Facebook page this weekend. He was 85. So it was Heavy Heart.
That dude. That dude's been old since I was a kid.
It was Heavy Heart. We announced the warrior has called. He was the hereditary chief and medicine man of the Sac and Fox tribe. Traveled the world speaking his traditions, his experiences, his sobriety, and his faith as both a Native American and a Christian. And
yeah, that dude has been ancient forever, man. I swear to God, that guy was born at 65.
There's some couple.
That's not ancient. I've got news for you.
So, did you know the first sports bra was two jock straps connected together?
Wait.
That was a hell of a segue.
That was one hell of a segue.
I'm wondering why he's picking. He did all those, but then he doesn't bring up Joey Jordison.
I didn't catch that one.
Oh, really?
It's not as important.
Drummer?
The what?
No, I didn't. Oh no, I didn't catch that one.
Yeah, he died at 46 like last week.
Oh yeah, because didn't he die because of something about his drumming style, or there was something?
I don't know.
No, because
you brought it up. You better figure out why.
Because I read somewhere now that I remember.
Nobody has released his cause of death.
Nobody's released it.
I remember reading somewhere that he believed whatever disease he had or problem was
because of his drumming.
Was because of his something to do with Slipknot. Now that could be drumming, extracurricular activities. You never know.
I don't know if I believe any of that.
I don't know, but I mean, John just went on this whole death tirade and then doesn't even bring that up. I'm like, what the heck?
Well, I did want to bum every.
I know.
Too sad.
Jeez, come on.
So the first sports bra was 2 jock straps. Meet the New Jersey woman who invented it. So it's Lisa Lindahl isn't sure why she got kicked out of the Kimberly School in New Jersey in the late 60s, but there's a good chance that smearing chocolate cupcake in her friend Polly Palmer Smith's face in the hallway or letting... This is the reason I chose it, not only because it's a wacky headline, but it's such a run-on, sentence.
Yeah, I'm like, what the hell are you reading?
I just thought it was hilarious when I saw it. It's like,
okay, so he went from jock straps to smearing cupcakes at freaking junior high. What the hell?
Yeah, that's literally
what is going on here.
That's literally the way the story went.
And the show keeps going downhill from there.
I'm going to drop it one more time.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Quentin Tarantino says he stopped driving the, quote, pussy wagon, unquote, from Kill Bill because too many people would recognize him.
My God, you could miss that guy if you tried because he's so freaking ugly.
Well, it's not that. It's a bright yellow truck.
I don't care about the
it's a bright yellow truck with the thing Pussy Wagon on it. It's from one of his most famous movies. You couldn't miss it.
I know. I'd be happy to see the truck. I don't really want to see him.
Yeah,
Sorry.
but I'm like, okay, wait. He thought that driving the Pussy Wagon would keep him inconspicuous?
Yes, apparently.
Right. Whatever. It just fits along with his personality, He just thinks he's God's gift, obviously, and he hasn't looked in the mirror lately.
Stop recognizing me. I'm driving the Pussy Wagon.
Yeah,
here.
darn
what the
it.
hell?
That's my favorite thing about this article because it says it's the thing about the Pussy Wagon is whenever I drove it on the freeway, everyone recognized it. It was me. He told Deadline, everyone recognized the Pussy Wagon, and then it would be a change.
If I'm driving down the road and I spot the Pussy Wagon, I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing. Somebody recreated the Pussy Wagon.
That's right.
And I drive up next to it, I'm like, oh no, that's the one, because that's Tarantino. That would be one of those, I think I'm still asleep.
Well,
so this is
you than the other three of us are more likely going to actually see that.
Yeah, Ryan's got the highest possibility of actually seeing it.
And this is my favorite thing. It's not a good ride for that, he said. It's cool and it's fun every once in a while to take it out for a Sunday drive, but I wouldn't run errands in it with a billboard that says Pussy Wagon.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's talked for a while about potentially. I think he was on Rogan not long ago talking about how he wanted to, or he'd been approached by somebody.
He wanted somebody to approach him about doing a museum or a traveling
doing
piece.
the rolling museum, of all of his famous cars from all of his movies, because he really does have some iconic vehicles.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, not like Leno.
There's nobody like Leno.
Not like what?
Leno.
Jay Leno.
I said not like Leno, not like Jay Leno's, car collection.
Like I said,
not like his car collection, but here's the thing: is how many of those cars would you associate with Jay Leno? He's got a dozen cars that I would associate with.
His movies,
if I saw Stanley Steamer on the road, I'd be like, oh, that's Leno car.
Yeah, you know who that is. That's Leno.
Well, since I watched Jay Leno's Garage, his YouTube channel. I watch it every week. Most of the cars I see, if I was in Los Angeles and it was some sort of car I haven't recognized before, there's a chance there's a fat Scottish Italian guy driving it.
Could be.
Yeah, he's got a lot of really cool cars, like Leno.
My favorite thing about his channel is now we're at the Duesenberg section of the garage, and there's $30 million in cars sitting there. It's like
there are not many collectors in the whole world that have a collection like Jay Leno. It's just unbelievable.
I would love to say, like, here's the car section of my garage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd just like to have a garage.
My garage is storage. It's really what it's become.
Yeah.
Actually, no, let me reframe that. It's where we throw everything that eventually is going to get thrown away, and then one of us just get pissed and say, we're doing a dump run. No.
Boy, you shut us all up on that one.
Your wife is going to do a dump run, huh?
In my truck.
Yes. Hey, did you know that California is not letting PC companies ship certain computers that don't meet California's energy requirements?
So they're shipping them out of the state of California. Let me get this right. So
Are they actually manufactured in Cali?
Well, other than some of the chip manufacturing, actually made here. What else is actually made here?
Dell won't ship energy-hungry PCs to California and 5 other U.S. states due to power regulations.
Okay, well, I misunderstood what you were saying. That's different.
So basically, because they don't meet when there's
certain models of Dell.
Yeah.
Let's just say this is Dell in this case.
It's the higher end models that really power hungry, 1,000 watt. It's the high end ones from everything I've read.
That's exactly why I built mine, and I plan on getting a 700 watt power source.
Yeah.
Separately.
I've literally built almost every computer I ever owned in my whole life. I've actually built.
Except for recently.
Except for the most recent one.
Just to be fair, when I say built, I mean some guy built it for me.
Pussy.
Oh, well,
What is that?
I didn't build the parts. I just bought a bunch of parts and put it together.
Yeah, like we've legitimately built
dozens.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that story moving on, did you know that one of my favorite people to talk about, Jeff Bezos, is temporarily not the richest person on the planet?
Jeff Bezos, that's the guy that has the Schwanz rocket?
That's right.
You mean his wife is now, right? Or ex-wife.
Along with
he must have an enormous Schwanz picker.
Along with Mrs. Gates.
Well, I'm going to get to that story too, but Mr. Bezos, Mr. Astronaut Wannabe, which is another part of the story because he did not get his astronaut wings.
Aww.
Yeah.
He didn't go high enough.
Well, no, he went high enough. The problem is that NASA changed the rules between Sir Branson's flight.
Yeah, who makes an astronaut and who doesn't anymore? NASA said, we are in charge of that.
That's right. That's exactly right. And they changed the rules between the two launches, and Bezos is out. He didn't get his astronaut wings. But also, on the day that he launched, Amazon lost over 7% of its valuation.
Yeah, because everybody was hoping it would blow up in midair.
Yeah, it actually had to do with less than anticipated second quarter growth, unfortunately.
He took enough blue pills. He went right.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so Bezos, however you want to do it. Yeah, the poor guy, he lost his title. It'll come back strong, I'm sure, knowing him. But then, of course, Bill and Melinda. That's like another generation, right?
Did Bill marry?
Yeah, no. Bill Gates and Melinda French Gates are officially divorced as of today.
What he did is he pulled a Trump and found a woman that has close to his ex's name.
That's right.
Okay.
Let's keep all M's and close so that when you call it out in the middle of the night.
It matches the monogram bed sheet.
That's right. You don't have to get. Anyway, yeah. So Bill is also, although still one of the richest men in the world, is a lot less.
But he's
rich.
on the market now.
Yeah.
I have a feeling there's going to be a line of 24-year-old supermodels, just somehow, going, Mr. Gates.
Well, I don't know about that. I think his kids might interfere with somebody younger than them. Yeah,
I don't know.
I got a random question for you guys. I'm taking a poll.
42.
Ron Jeremy.
Well, that answered two other questions. But unrelated to my current topic. No. What is your guys' opinion / policies on the level of friendliness you are to your immediate neighbors?
I've seen my neighbor once and almost got in a fight with another one.
I say hi. That's about it.
Okay.
Neighbors?
Yeah.
Yeah, shit. Where you are, that's you're a shit. Actually, if I had to take a guess, from your actual house, it's got to be 100 yards to your next neighbor.
No, it'd be more like 500 yards.
Is it that much? Wow.
Yeah. So, and of course, I always went along with good fences make good neighbors.
No, good acres make good neighbors.
And well,
No shit.
that's the other way. So
Unlike me,
that's
who was
always been my general policy. So I've lived in an apartment building for a long, long time. Didn't grow up in one, but just have, since I moved out of my folks' house, I'm not exactly, living in the burbs anymore. But I did luck out and only got like the little 4-banger kind of 4-unit apartment, 2 on each side, stairs up the middle, and I've always had this general policy of like, hey, look, I'm friendly to my neighbors. I will say hi. You can call me, knock on my door if you need me to move my car. You know what? Even call me up. Hey, there's a package on my front door. Would you mind stashing it for me? That is about the extent I will go for a neighbor. Anything beyond that, I honestly don't even want to know your name. And the reason I bring this up is
I'm
because
perfectly fine with all that.
Yeah, currently outside, there is one of my neighbors that is screaming help because this drunk broad decides to lock herself out of the damn gate just about every day. We've got a lock on the gate because people kept leaving it open. People's cars, all of a sudden you go back and you see somebody like in your carport, looking into cars, and, we've had to chase a couple of people off from time to time. So the landlord throws a gate up and says, hey, listen, new policy, everybody lock this gate. All right, cool, man. It's a little bit of a pain in the ass. I got to get on my car. I can't just, leave and, whatever. But, not a big deal, really, when it comes down to it. So this lady cannot understand the concept of take a key with her. And so, at this point, I'm still listening to her yell. I refuse to go down. I've opened the damn gate enough.
So you don't exactly live on Rodeo Drive there, do you?
Rodeo?
Did you turn the music up louder?
No, I'm on the wrong side of LA.
You should have just turned the music up louder when she started doing that.
Yeah, really.
Like, sorry, I'm listening to Led Zeppelin. I love this part.
Yell louder, I can't hear you.
Or the ZZ Top. Sorry, too much bass. I'm morning dusty. What? Hold on.
Well, so when I was in college, I lived in an apartment for. Oh, thanks. Thanks for that. Yes, it was a bit ago. To help pay my rent, I volunteered to be manager of the building. And I learned basically from that experience to never live in an apartment building again. It was awful. I mean, it was the worst.
I've got a really interesting question for you, Rob. Now, you said volunteered.
Yeah.
Now, was it volunteered or out of necessity?
I was broke.
That wasn't volunteering.
No, you can still volunteer out of necessity.
Yeah.
It is a thing. You're saying, yes, I'll do this.
It was.
I need to live
I didn't
here,
volunteer
so
for
I live on
Vietnam.
the street.
I didn't volunteer for Vietnam either, so I did, But anyway, yeah, I hate that. So living in an apartment building and having neighbors is not something that I ever want to repeat again.
I've had some interesting experiences. I've got 2 or 3 technically. One places I lived, actually I think 2 places. I think there were women of ill repute there. My last place I lived in, this woman at midnight, right next to her trailer and her Cadillac Escalade, would stand outside of
her trailer and her Cadillac Escalade?
Yeah.
What were you living in?
I was living in a duplex.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to figure out about trailers, and that brings up a different.
It was a duplex. Basically, there was a house,
different image.
There was a trailer, and there was a black Cadillac Escalade, and she would stand out in the middle of the night in a short short skirt, high heels, and basically no shirt on. And I can't sleep, so I'm up at the middle of the night looking out. It's like, what is she doing? And she's shivering. It's like the guy in me's like, okay, the gentleman's like, give her a coat, and they realize, wait a minute, she's picking up somebody's picking her up. I don't want anything to do with that.
Okay, next story.
Yeah, no, she was a strange one.
I take it.
And the second one was I almost got in a fight with my neighbor over a cat. And it's hilarious. It's a hilarious story because my cat got out, and we would let him out during the day, let him in at night. He preferred it. Otherwise, sometimes he just wasn't particularly happy. So, or vice versa. So I guess his cat was toothless, clawless, aged, and outside. And it would start fights with my cat, who was incredibly young at the time. And it would beat him up. So instead of the guy saying, hey, your cat hurt mine, we need to settle the bill, it's like, oh, okay, no problem. One day I got home after taking like 2.5 hours to get home. So I was already exhausted and pissed off. And he comes marching down his driveway like Teddy Roosevelt in San Juan Hill and tries to start a fight with me. And I just finally lost it and started screaming at him like an idiot. Like I belonged on people at Walmart. And I just finally just started shouting random shit on him. It's like, and then finally I said, you know what, kid, I just don't want to deal with you. And this dude's probably 60. And he says, kid, why don't you come here, fight me on my property? And I'm like, no, fight me on mine. He's like, no, I'm not going to go on your property. I can sue you if you punch me on mine.
Yeah.
And that's afterwards I realized that was probably the most immature moment I've had as an adult. Was I almost got in a fight with my neighbor over a cat. It's like, well, that's a crowning achievement. And he's a kind of a nice guy. I mean, I don't actually have any issues with him, but he told me he had a thyroid issue that made him mean. It's like, okay. I mean, if whatever it takes, man.
Let's Google that. Is this a known issue?
I guess if you don't take your medication.
That's.
Oh, sorry about that.
Well, this is going to get pulled.
I have no idea what the hell that is.
Yeah, I wasn't sure about what the hell that was either. That was apparently Rob was trying to take us all on the magic carpet ride.
That's
or something.
right. I don't.
Needs more sitars.
Jeez. I'm sorry. My computer tends to do things on its own here.
Oh, I just
I'm trying to record the show and do other things at the same time.
I just remembered one when my old
you
condo.
Got another one.
I do,
all
but
right,
this one I remember a condo, and across the condo was this lady, and her kids. And I remember this lady coming up asking for something at one point in time in a very short shirt and outfit. And she wasn't particularly attractive. And then after that, I remember her always sending her kids like every other week for stuff. Do you have a stick of butter? Do you have this? Do you have that? Never thought that happened until I started being bummed for flour.
Was she one of your Walmart customers?
No. Actually, she could have been. I have a feeling she had a substance abuse issue.
Oh, well.
Wouldn't she go for Ajax over everything else? I mean, that was in Cheech and Chong.
It's turning blue.
Right. Oh, geez.
So, what movie do you think Arnold Schwarzenegger loves the most out of all the ones he's ever done?
Kindergarten
Hopefully
Cop.
True Lies.
That was a tie.
Okay, I think Ryan said True Lies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jonathan said.
And John won with Kindergarten Cop.
Yeah.
That's his favorite movie that he's ever done.
Really?
It's not a tumor.
Wrong movie.
Yeah.
None of the Terminator ones either.
Oh yeah, no, that was
That was the one where he got pregnant.
Twins.
No, it wasn't it? No, because
No. Kindergarten Cop was because he said he got a headache, and the kid said maybe it's a tumor, and he yelled back at him, "It's not a tumor."
You're right.
It's
You're
not
right.
a tumor. Yeah. I was thinking of all those movies. I mean, I kind of liked Kindergarten Cop at first, but I mean, It's not that great of one. I mean, I think it's probably because he worked with the kids. That was probably why he liked it so much.
I would have thought it would have been one of the Conan movies because that was kind of what really kicked off his career. But
that doesn't mean that's a favorite. I mean,
but that was the one that made him famous.
Well, made him famous.
Made
and
him famous
favorite.
doesn't mean this. Yeah,
two different things.
Yeah. I mean, Kindergarten Cop is kind of a fun movie, but I mean, it's not one that I like watching every year or anything. I don't know.
So do you know what Sylvester Stallone's most hated movie he ever did was?
I would have to probably say
all of them.
No, Death Race.
Stop or my mom will shoot with a Stell Getty.
Oh yeah.
That's his least favorite.
Yeah. Because Schwarzenegger got him to do it.
I could see that.
Apparently Schwarzenegger, he talks about in an interview how Schwarzenegger basically pranked him into doing the movie.
That's good.
I actually like the movie, not like, that's watch it every week, but it's hilarious. Mainly because you're watching a golden girl shoot a gun. That's the reason I like it the most. Otherwise, if you've never seen Golden Girls, the movie is awful. It's the context is king.
Yeah, okay. So you would understand it more. I'm going to finish up my space theme that I started talking about. Okay, I got one more here. So Boeing's Starliner spaceship is going to attempt to launch here tomorrow after a botched attempt flight to the International Space Station in 2019. And the whole reason for their missed orbital flight on that was that their clocks on the ship were off by 11 hours. Okay. They were set 11 hours ahead of schedule, and it messed the whole thing up. And I was reading the announcement from NASA. So Boeing screwed up because of clocks, right? So the NASA spokesman comes out and says, now's the right time. This team is ready to go. The vehicle is ready to go. And she goes on and on and on. And I had to say, what's the irony of they didn't work the first time because of clocks, and now she says it's the right time. I'm sorry. That's the way my brain works.
And now the news. So, SpaceX Booster 4, they put 26 Raptor engines under it on the new Starliner, and it's supposed to have like a max of 32. Which is supposed to be stronger than, I think, the Mercury rockets that launched Apollo.
Atlas 5.
Wait, what?
No.
Or Saturn. Was it
Saturn
Saturn
5s, yeah.
So the SpaceX, I think it's the Starliner or whatever they call it. It's basically the big silver tube. They put 26 Raptor engines on it. Apparently they did it overnight or something close. So they're trying to get permission to launch it soon, but the FAA and SpaceX are kind of having a battle because FAA doesn't like how fast SpaceX has actually been launching rockets. Because SpaceX would do it every day if they could, and they're having issues with that. And they're also wanting to launch out of Boca Raton or whatever they are. And
they're in Texas.
It's Boca Chica.
Boca Chica.
And they don't
Texas.
like that, and they don't like that either.
Well, Elon says attempted to buy out that whole town, the whole city, whatever they call it, so that they can launch on any schedule they want. But because there's still residents there that are holdouts, he's not able to do that.
He should just buy the street and put tolls.
Well, there's a couple of reasons besides the street situation and the homes that are nearby. Also that they can't launch unless the whole downrange ocean area is cleared. And so that causes another problem. There's a lot of logistics involved. Part of the reasons that they're looking at launching from an oil platform, they're busily building that right now so that they can be out in the middle of the area.
I did hear FAA, one of the government people said, yeah, that's not going to be enough. They basically that alluded to, we're still not going to allow them to launch whenever they want. Because it's something about the environmental impact of rocket launches.
Oh.
Okay. Could be. I don't know.
I thought it was interesting. I love the fact that Elon Musk is getting in a fight with government agencies.
Well, that's nothing new for him.
I know, but I think it's actually healthy that somebody who has a ton of money can actually battle and try to get some of these regulations to be modernized. I mean, if NASA is basically farming out rocket design, it's time that they need to give up some of the reins a little bit.
Gonna have to elect the right
I don't
people.
see that doing it. They're not going to do that.
No, not at all. So somebody got a funny story. We got to go into our commercial, into our advertisement with something that's a little bit more amusing than talking about Elon Musk. Even though his last name is amusing.
I find the whole thing amusing.
So, have you heard that ice worms are emerging from the Pacific Northwest glaciers?
Ice worms?
Ice worms. Yeah.
No.
They're like black-looking worms. They were first discovered in 1887 on Alaska's Muir Glacier. And now they're been spotted in coastal glaciers in Alaska, British Columbia, Washington, and Oregon.
Crazy.
And now they're finding out that there's a bunch of them just coming out more and more. And they're like black. They look basically like kind of like little mini eels. They keep coming out, and instead of they're supposed to be akin to earthworms, but instead of going through dirt, they go through glacial ice, eating snow algae and bacteria and anything else they can find in there.
I wonder if they bite.
I don't know.
Like a hookworm.
I don't know. First time I heard the story, I was sitting there thinking, like, is this going to be like some like prehistoric worms that are coming out? I don't know. But apparently they've been around for a long time.
And
I never heard of them.
Yeah, I've never heard of them. That's surprising. You thought that would be something that would be mentioned in some sort of random science show, Unusual creatures. And talk about coming out in unusual creatures. This is a horrible segue. I'm sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back. Sorry, Audacity.
Today's show is brought to you by Audacity. The game word dignity is overrated. Go to ODDASSITY.com. That's ODDASSITY.com. Pick up a card game from this website or selected stores. That's Audacity, the unforgettable party game for mischievous people.
And do me a favor, check out their website. They're adding new places you can pick up their game as fast as they can. So make sure you go to Audacity.com and see where you can get them near you. So, you know what amazes me? The 1960s was like when rocketry and space was really in the 50s and 60s. With all of this happening with Elon Musk, Bezos, and Branson, nobody's paying attention to it really. Like, I'm into it, but nobody else. Really, you don't see it all over the news. It's not... That surprises me, It's not part of the mythos of modern society.
No, like Branson's thing was heavily covered.
Yeah, but I don't know anybody who talked about it. Like, I don't know anybody personally who's not in,
Shit, man. How many real water cooler moments are there anymore where everybody's actually watching the same shit?
Good point.
That's true.
Good point, yeah.
I was going to say I could make this all about NASA. What was it?
All about NASA.
Blue Origin apparently was getting mad that... I don't remember the specific details, got mad that SpaceX won an award, and a judge told Blue Origin, which is Bezos' company, too bad, so sad. Because Bezos has something in it for Elon Musk. He's trying to copy Musk as much as they can in certain elements. Apparently there's a Blue Origin engineer that said nobody can really copy SpaceX's chaotic cycle of inventing. It works for SpaceX, but it wouldn't work for anybody else. This is true. They're not a Dr. Evil like Musk is.
Yeah, but
this is why I'm generally fine with anything Elon Musk ever wants to do. Just, keep being a mad scientist. This is the closest thing to science fiction I ever thought I was going to fucking say.
Yeah, it's our real Tony Stark.
Let's just hope he drinks less than Tony Stark did.
I have no idea.
Oh, in the comics, he drinks quite a bit.
No, I mean,
Elon. That's the one thing that I was kind of sad they left out. Although they did give him some demons, so I was fine with that. But he was a major alcoholic.
Oh, hey, talk about the most interesting thing in Disney. Scarlett Johansson is suing Disney and Disney Plus for releasing the Black Widow standalone movie at the same time as in theaters, causing her to actually make less money.
Well, it had to do with the streaming. So what her lawsuit talked about was that she gets a percentage of the net from all the screenings,
like
movie theaters,
like 6%, something.
Right,
like
but
that.
she gets nothing out of the streaming. Yeah. And she said that was not her understanding when she signed to this contract that they were going to stream that movie. So she got nothing out of all the money that they got for the streaming fee.
Now, here's the thing that the way contracts work, if it wasn't specified or there's no wiggle room, I don't see Disney or anybody else making some sort of wiggle room to slipstream a streaming option on release day, because that's up until COVID. That's never happened, as far as I'm aware, we're on release day.
No, they have definitely made some deals that were very unheard of. What gets released on HBO, Disney, and all those things has been a really weird thing. Now, hopefully, and I didn't look anything into this. Hopefully, her lawsuit might have, hopefully, again, has something to do with, hey, look, it's not just me who's out of money over here. There's a lot of people who worked on this that were, that should be able to make something, but we can't because these dummies. But here's the thing, two rich people want to sue each other for, hey, you screwed this deal up. Okay, fine. It's not a rich person suing a poor person for, some perceived insult or lack of money on the back end of something. So her going after Disney, who gives a shit? Pay her out. Like, I know everybody's looking at it like, oh, gross celebrity things, but it's like, yeah, but she's not suing the ASPCA. You know what I mean? She's going after Disney.
I would say it's more like a rich person going after John Rockefeller, just because Disney is so filthy rich. I do think personally that I think this is going to be an important case, because apparently there's a number of celebrities who are pissed at Disney that they're saying it was a gendered attack. Their response back was a gendered attack towards her. But besides that, I think this is going to be a big deal, because companies now are trying to keep as much profits as they can, and I think if they're going to start trying to chase out, to do stuff like this, is kind of because it's kind of a backdoor release, really.
By streaming?
By
allowing streaming?
Yeah, because if there's no deal set forward, now if I was Scarlett Johansson or if I was The Rock, I would say, okay, I want 6% of this and I want 6% of that, because it's $30, and apparently you get it for the lifetime on Disney Plus. Because I asked a friend of mine who did it.
Yeah, they were talking about that The Rock might be going after Disney over the Jungle Cruise because of the same thing that Johansson is dealing with. So
I would be pissed too if it's, because the Avengers is supposed to be something that's a guaranteed moneymaker. And if even if you lost like 50% or say 10%, that's still a huge chunk of money that you're not getting from, 6% or whatever she's getting off the top of the sale.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I kind of agree with Ryan. It's like, boohoo. You should have been thinking about that. I mean, especially with the way that COVID's going on. You really think you're going to be getting a shit ton of ticket sales right now?
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'd be at.
No, I actually don't blame her either, or Disney, but I am surprised, and I probably shouldn't, that Disney didn't come up to the celebrities, the people who had those deals, and say, look, this is what we're doing. We'll cut you a check off a percentage of the whatever they call it. Was it the Premier Access?
Well, you have to have Disney Plus first, and then you have to pay the $30. The $30.
So I'm surprised Disney said, look, we'll cut you a 1% of all of this, because there has to be only the major stars get a net cut, right? I don't see that being
yeah, it all depends on how their agent is able to work in the percentage of which way they want to go. You want to get paid up front. Is this movie going to be a hit? And you think it's going to be a hit, and you want to be paid at the back end.
That's how Robert Downey Jr. made so much money. Is he was such a risk. Like, we're just going to give you, the percentage.
Yeah, and he was totally fine with that.
Well, yeah, because this was the only way he was going to get back in pictures, because he basically burned all his bridges.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, what an incentive for him for that movie to do well.
Yeah. And
I'm sure they looked at it that way too. The makers of the movie, the showrunners are all saying, "Hey, this is
like, hey, behooves you if you do well." And
right.
that's,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually kind of a smart way to put it.
I am.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I do wonder, because COVID now, if say COVID lasts another year or two, what are they going to do? Because theaters won't be filled for a long time. This is going to affect their bottom line, and the fact that if this goes too long, SAG's going to go after them. And if you piss off all the Hollywood guilds, Disney is going to basically stop.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Of course, this could end up in courts for the next 10 years. I mean, we don't know where this is going to come through, and maybe by that time, they'll get back to normal. I'll say, having been once a week, I've been going to the movie theaters, and they're still virtually empty.
Well, here's my thought. So. My thought is, say if SAG and there's another one, basically say, okay, Disney, you're done. And for the next 10 years, Disney casts to use scabs. But pretty much any mainstream actor will never, they cannot do Disney. That would kill Disney.
Right.
So I am curious.
Nothing can kill Disney.
Well, it would hurt Disney. It would hurt Disney's bottom line. They have a lot of, they have a lot of back catalog. But I would be curious to see what would happen. I doubt they would do that over Scarlett Johansson, just because one person. But if you get enough people, enough big stars, I bet this could get nasty.
I can see Scarlett Johansson having some pull with some of her friends and things like that. I mean, she's got to made some good connections through all the Marvel shit she's done.
Well, no, I don't mean to make it sound like I'm just saying, oh, Scarlett Johansson. I'm just saying because it's a single person. No matter how big you are, it's a single person. Now, if you get Scarlett Johansson, if you get The Rock, if you get some of the other people who are not getting paid, I could see if you get a giant cast swatch of cast members, I could see them SAG going, okay, we got enough members here that are pissed off. Maybe we need to vote to strike.
And they've done that before, so it's quite possible.
Sure.
I know, it's interesting. And one of the reasons I'm talking about stuff like this, because all you read now is doom and gloom. So it's kind of fun to talk about something that's not. Like, apparently Amazon's extremely expensive Lord of the Rings TV series is going to come out in 2022. And you have to have premiere.
Which one is it?
Lord of the Rings TV series?
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings, the TV show.
Yeah. It's
really. It's on Amazon, right?
It's on Amazon Prime, which means I'll have to pay for it somehow to get it.
No, you can't use my Amazon Prime.
We were talking about this a while ago.
You can use anybody's Amazon Prime. Amazon doesn't care.
Hey,
because originally
I was just reserving the right to give them shit.
Originally, it was. I heard it was somewhere around $500 million. It's supposedly an extremely expensive TV show.
That's a pretty expensive TV show.
Well, there's no fear anymore like there used to be about putting together some incredibly expensive show like that. Now, here's the funny thing is I don't know how they're making all that money back. I don't know if that comes in the way of advertising dollars the way that it used to. I mean, obviously it can't, but I don't know how they're able to pull that off. Honestly,
merch, DVDs, video sales.
Merch,
Well, I mean, consider how popular the movies are. The TV series probably just by default is going to be popular, at least in the beginning.
So the question, I guess, is how did Game of Thrones make its money back? Because I'm assuming it's going to be similar. Is it going to be amount of eyeballs on it?
Well, it was an extremely popular series. Extremely popular.
So my assumption is there's enough Tolkien people or whatever they actually decide to name themselves that love Lord of the Rings, because there's a Lord of the Rings subreddit that I go to all the time. Just amazing what people discover about the series. So there is a ton of this could be, I don't know, like a 5-year series with a ton of information.
Yeah, but it better be good with all the nerds out there.
This is true.
Better be accurate. Now, being good, you'd have to say, were the movies really good?
Oh, well.
So, but accurate.
See, no, this is the thing. Peter Jackson got away with murder and a few things in the stories just because the time he allotted, which is still 3 hours per fucking movie.
Yeah.
They're going to have to be pretty dead on exact to have this be remotely good. I don't know. You guys, and is there anything you guys are interested?
I like the books, but I don't know. I'm not going to like jump out of my seat for the show just to, I don't know. I'm not that excited for it. I want it to be good, but it's like I'm not like dying to see it either.
I want to see it, but however, I am not looking for the 1.5 years of Frodo Baggins. You know, the journey to Khazad-dûm is, you know, and him whining.
It's definitely not going to be that. It's probably going to take place old age or, you know, beginning of Mordor or something like that.
I thought it was supposed to be, and you know, I actually don't know. I need to look it up. I actually thought it was supposed to be a retelling of the Lord of the Rings. If it was more of a prehistory.
Oh, I don't think it's. I think it's. Oh shit! Unless I'm thinking about the Game of Thrones one, where it's to kind of go prehistory.
If it was prehistory, that would be amazing because there's a lot of content that most civilians haven't read. I haven't gone through. Was it the Silmarillion or whatever it's called?
Silmarillion?
Yeah, I've never read it. I've always wanted to, just never had time. Because it's supposed to be...
Yeah, that's been one of those on my list forever. I know James has read it, or at least owns it.
James?
I didn't hear what he asked.
Have you read the Silver...
Oh, do you own the... And I can't recall if it's the Silmarillion or the Silmarillion.
Silmarillion.
Silmarillion. You own that book, don't you?
Yeah, I do. It's been a long time since I read it. I was like 13 or so when I read it.
Yeah, don't worry. There won't be a quiz.
It was like, so it's basically all just it's basically all his notes like compiled into a book.
Yeah.
So it's a really freaking boring ass read.
Yeah, it's basically, I've always heard it referred to as the Hobbit Bible of this Hobbit begot this Hobbit, and this Hobbit begot this Hobbit. And then there's the elves and the
yeah, pretty much.
The hell of I can't remember what the wizard's race is.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's basically that, but it's like, I mean, there's interesting little tidbits in there, but it's like not enough that it ever stuck in my brain, you know, 20 years later.
Right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. Not that great of a book. It's been a long time.
Yeah, I've heard if you're really into Tolkien, it's good. If you're not really into that particular universe, it's not really the book to read. But that makes sense. What's that?
I was at the time. I was pretty into it at the time, but not as I got older and older.
He grew a brain.
No.
Yeah, pretty much.
He'd have to prove it. Show me.
I had to go to the bathroom and I lost it.
That sounds about right.
Oh, there you go.
Is there a person who hasn't actually watched a movie in a very long time? Is there anything coming out that you guys are interested in? I know the last trailer for Ghostbusters has come out. Another trailer for Dune has come out. And that's all the two that have run across my radar. I know there's one that's with Chris Pratt that I vaguely want to see.
No, there's no movies that I'm excited about.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what, I hate fanboying out on this shit because it seems kind of like, oh, you still watch that shit? But man, the new Marvel Phase 4 stuff. Here's the thing. I'm more excited about Marvel stuff these days than I was about the original thing because in the beginning, even though they did have a plan, the fully fleshed out, like it was like they come up with one thing and then once they're done with it, they come up with the next thing. It's like now, ever since the last little batch of movies, they've known where the next couple of phases are going to go well before they've made anything. Did I lose you?
No, we're all digesting what you just said.
I actually
it's a low energy show tonight.
I appreciate
sound effect.
I appreciate their storytelling and the way they're doing it. I'm just missing non-superhero. I'm missing something different, and I'm kind of turned up.
I agree that I want superhero movies to keep going forever. Comic book movies, all of that shit, because comic books have, and you can keep forever and introduce new characters. They're doing sort of like that What If show and all of that stuff, but not at the expense of like the Shawshanks of the world and the Schindler's List and all those great movies that, hey man, that's just what's out this week. You don't have 1,000 things to choose from, so you're going to watch it, even though you might not have otherwise picked it out of a lineup. You watch it and it becomes like your favorite thing. I would have not watched fucking Schindler's List had Iron Man 2 was coming out that same week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't have seen it. But now, if I meet somebody who has not seen Schindler's List, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, they teach it in schools, for Christ's sake. You need to watch that movie.
I mean, I'll be honest, I would be happy if they made some content off of D&D, since there's such great storytelling and stuff off of that, or maybe make maybe
thing about D&D though is it's way too user specific. My version of D&D might not be your version, or my parents never played D&D, my uncle's version, or the nerd down the street.
It's
way too open-ended. I mean, yeah, you can do little things, but I'm not holding a lot of hope for the movie.
Well, you could do like Neverwinter Nights and R.A. Silvadori, however you say his name, with the Icewind Dale trilogy. There's stuff that way, or really hard-hitting dramas, or like hard-edged sci-fi, just something that's like you said, that's just different. I'm just so burnt out with all the. I
do think these Marvel movies and how good they've become, and people's willingness to keep watching these forever is going to make room for a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, I'm hoping so, because if I'm burned out, I can't be the only person who's ready for the next in line. There's something else.
Not that this is Real Flicks Reviews, but which we seem to
talk about whatever here.
Yeah,
Rob,
I guess so. It just keeps going. But you talk about movies and things that I really miss is I like good sci-fi, and there seems to be a major lacking of decent sci-fi as far as major releases goes. Television has done okay job with things like Discovery and
I don't think hard-edged sci-fi like The Expanse will do good in the theater anymore.
I can see The Expanse doing it.
Yeah,
that would be terrible.
You see, I just don't think like the days of
But I don't necessarily mean it has to be like the Expanse, but
that's hard-edged sci-fi.
Well,
that is within.
I didn't say hard-edged. I just mean decent quality sci-fi.
Name a decent quality movie that came out that's not this rehashed, overdone.
Well, and that's the other problem. We've talked about it too, is that there's so many prequels and sequels and, you name it equals. It gets to be ridiculous after a while. And that is the problem with trying to create new content. I don't care what it is. I mean, the movies that you've already announced are all basically, sequels or parkles or whatever you want to call them, locals.
I also think the other thing for me is I just don't know if I like part of the modern storytelling device is everything has to be being over dramatic, or instead of a really good story they have to ramp up the drama for lack of details. And except Game of Thrones was really dramatic but actually had fairly in-depth background, which a lot of movies
don't have a lot of the drama, but don't just put a bunch of spectacle in my face and decide you can leave the drama out.
Yeah, I just want something that's balanced. Like I've watched episodes of Game of Thrones. I haven't watched the whole thing, and I was impressed because you can get in. Well, you don't know everything, but off the bat, but you can watch the episode, get an idea of what's happening, and you can tell there's some depth here. But a lot of sci-fi I've seen, minus a few within the last decade, is just kind of like the last one I remember seeing that I actually thought did a pretty good job of not being super deep but not being super shallow was like The Edge of Tomorrow with Tom Cruise. It's like, damn, they did a really good job handling that movie. Or Looper, I really liked.
Looper was fantastic. That was an underrated damn movie right there.
It's like, why can't you guys come out with movies that live within its own universe that's close to like my preferred genre, but actually good instead of being, what was it? The Aliens Take Los Angeles or whatever it was.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and
with Aaron Eckhart.
I think those movies are coming out because the thing about it is, I mean, District 9 from back when, whether you like the movie or not, I've heard mixed opinions on it. That movie could have been made. Well, it was shot on a red camera, which is incredibly inexpensive when you're talking about film cameras. And I mean, cinema cameras, that's not film specifically. It's a digital camera. But it was shot on a red, which is inexpensive. I mean, like base models cost, I want to say like $15,000, or at least they did at the time. Get a bunch of accessories and things like that for them, depending on what you're doing. The editing software you can download right now. Not very expensive.
Hell, you can use Adobe
and
Premiere.
If you have the time and the skill, you can do it. That's the thing. I mean, some of these things are base models on modern computers. Perfect editing software that just requires your skill. So these movies are being made, but they're not being talked about because we're not seeing the same shit. I know I keep harping on the same thing, but I miss being able to go to work and know that like my buddies at least saw one of the 3 things that was on TV last night.
This is why I miss Blockbuster and Hollywood Video and your mom and pop shops. You got to. I miss being and I miss talking to the movie geeks. It's like, oh, dude, you got to check out this Neil Blomkamp District 9 movie. It's effing amazing. I miss that, and you don't get that. I think that's part of the stuff. The other thing is that we've said before in air. There's no barrier to entry now when watching movies. It's like, no, I don't want to watch this, so I'll watch the first 20 minutes. It's crap. Shit, let's go to the next one. When I was a kid, you rented a movie, you were going to watch the damn movie because that was $4.20.
The damn thing.
Because that was $4.20.
I mean, James and I have gone through many a war of attrition with different movies of just like, you know what, I'm going to suck this up because we just rented it. Or we just paid to go see it in the theater. Like we're watching credits, damn it.
It's like, yeah, like if you rented a movie, like, like, oh, this is a $5 movie. I'm not going to say no to this unless it was just utter crap. And I've sat through trauma movies because I paid $5 for them. So so I miss that. I miss that a lot. And maybe it's just because it's our age showing.
Yeah. It used to feel like you did some work, you put in some effort when you found some cult thing. When you were part of a cult following, it was almost annoying when the mainstream got a hold of it. But now in cult, it doesn't feel fucking special anymore. Like, oh, you watch this show that no one's ever joined the fucking club.
It's like, no, I think you're right. It's like being a music geek. It's being like one of the few people who listen to some rare, obscure band, and you were a member of this, like the snobby music, like the old guy understands from his youth about really being into this music that nobody else is. And this is the reason why it's amazing. I miss that. Instead, it's just, I don't know. And online, being that way sucks because you're missing that fervor, that passion. In text makes you a dick.
Yeah.
And instead of seeing this person how excited they are that this cut is like this because of this and this and this, I don't know. I miss that a lot. And Netflix to me just doesn't do it. Amazon Prime, none of these things bring back the fun of a Friday night movie. Going to the local mom and pop shop and scouring the video wall or the archives for something that just, that's screaming your name like that box in Pulp Fiction.
Well, it's not going to go back.
Oh, no, it never will.
It just won't. It's over. Those times are gone.
I do think there is one feature I've wanted to try, and I've never done it, is that Watch With Me feature on, I think Netflix has it. My Plex server has it. Where you find something and you hit it and say, hey, do you want to watch this with me? And this person could be on the other side of the world. I think that's the only time that might bring that experience back is when you and your friends, whether you're together or separate, choose to watch something at the same time.
The other problem with that, though, is try to find 2 or 3 hours of time where you can actually sit down and watch a full movie these days.
Get
Right.
adults together for anything, man. That's hurting cats.
That's
I've
But,
got a 4-year-old. I can't do
If you
that.
get up or pause it and leave the room, does it pause it for the other person as well?
Probably. I don't know. I've never done it. So the only thing is like you'd have to set rules. If you have to take a leak, you're missing that. You're going to have to set some
just like
ground
if
rules
you're
of
in
the
the movie
game.
theaters, right?
Exactly. No
All right,
pausing.
so you missed
no,
that part.
You know, if you got to get snacks
Oh,
or
did you see
another
that
beer.
part? No, I went to the bathroom. Damn, you missed the best part of the movie.
Yeah. I think that's I think that's what you're going to have to do. You got to set ground rules to the game.
Yeah, when you come back out of the bathroom and you look at the people on the couch and you're like, "What did I miss?" And they're just wide-eyed looking at you like, "Bro, you missed a lot."
Yeah.
Well, you were talking about music, about stuff that you were snobs about, and certain things. One of those bands that just is in my mind was Deep Purple. They just got introduced to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah, Deep Purple.
Deep
I saw
Purple.
Deep Purple live, man. That was a goddamn good show.
Yeah. Well, it was not one of those mainstream bands that.
Oh man, I always dug Deep Purple. Well, my dad had a couple of their albums, so
Sure.
I was just it was like quote one of the things I grew up with. Just I grew up stealing all my dad's shit. Fucking James has seen my dad's well at the time it was a CD collection. That
Yeah.
shit was pretty expensive.
That's
It was.
we're over time. But
That's John's fault.
I want to end it with this, and you guys can carry on if you want, is
No.
Well, the thing that amazes me now is you're watching YouTube and you see people who are discovering music. I just watched what was a guy who was in the rap listening to ZZ Top. And it was like
Oh man, I
it was
love all of those.
it was like literally it was their biggest hit type of thing. And it's like, how do you not know of them? And I realized, wait a minute. Either it just wasn't in their bailiwick or they didn't grow up with a family member who was just into music, didn't care. And so it's kind of cool, like seeing people just dig something. Or I watched another guy listen to AC/DC's, one of their songs for the first time. And it's just, I don't know, it's amazing that.
I love
about that.
watching the people who were like super into hip hop react to like what do you call it? Righteous Brothers.
Yes.
Oh,
Unchained
sure.
Melody.
Yeah, that one's fun. I have yet to see one listen to like Pantera though. That's one I'm chasing. I want to find some guys listening to hardcore death metal. Not that Pantera is hardcore death metal, but yes,
I have listened to some Slayer.
Yeah, Slayer, that would be awesome. So apparently the old guy has to go to bed.
I'm just trying to help remind you. You're the one who we need to wrap the show up. We run over an hour. It's like we're lucky to get people listening for 10 minutes.
Oh, they stopped listening as soon as we said welcome to Real Fix Reviews. So, ladies and gentlemen, for the California Pariah, the Fat Man, the Old Guy, and our special guest, Ryan Preston, as always, thank you for listening.
Goodbye.